Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast. Sparky Coach Pod, Crowy here, chatting you through our series on how to have your best 2026. And to timestamp this, it's Monday the 23rd, so this pod will come out tomorrow. So it's sort of creeping right into 2026. It's well and truly begun. Your January might have been a little bit of a hiatus, and now you're back. Or you might have been cooking in January, and now you're really back. Now it's like, wow, are we 6 months in or what? But crazy times. We are 2026. To think that someone who finishes or starts their apprenticeship now, we finished in 2030. It's just psycho. Wow, 2030. Never thought I'd be saying that, but here we are. All right, so we're talking about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice and expecting a different result, or doing a similar thing multiple times and expecting a different result. So we're just wanting to talk about well, how do we, if it's working, how can it work better? And there's going to be a couple of people listening to this. It's what you're doing is working. And it's like, okay, how can we improve it? And there's other people that what I'm doing actually sucks. And I need to, I'd settle for average at this point, right? I'd settle for complete average. And that is better than what I'm doing now. And the goal is to always get better. It's crazy. We've got a sort of overarching company theme of make money, build wealth, be kind. And the make money part, we're looking for a market wage, so what you could be replaced for down the road. So what could you drive 3 streets away and work at a rival company's electrical company and then get paid? Probably 110 to 130 if you're on the tools, and probably 130 to 150 if you're off the tools in your hardcore office role and you're performing, plus super, plus fan. So you can get that. That's our base. Not even base level, that's just that's a given, a market wage. And we want to be able to achieve a business net profit of between 20 and 35%. Now, some people, 35 for me is psycho. That's a really excellent result. I'd be so happy with that. A lot of, if you're doing a 10 mil revenue, I dare say you're going to be pretty happy with 20%. So the reason we said 20 to 35 is because, firstly, 20 should be the minimum what you're aiming for. I think that's a fair and reasonable resolve to take anywhere. And multiple companies work in multiple different ways. There's many ways to skin the cat. If you're heavy service and maintenance and you're still on the tools, you can achieve a really impressive result. If you're operating like a bit of a Trojan horse, labor for materials, you might be able to achieve 20, 25%. And let me just say this, 20% of a higher number is a higher number. So 20% of a million is very different to 20% of 10 million. So it's like often people get stuck on percentages and I'm like, yeah, but you're doing 500 grand revenue. No offense, but who cares? The difference is so minimal in that. So you're fighting for percentages. The increase in revenue should see an increase in net profit. So your goal is to have the two going up at the same time. One of our members, this is probably my favorite result, mostly because I really like the guy, but in a PG way. But it's nice to have friends. But anyway, so came to us doing sort of 3.5 mil at 14% net profit, which is no laughing matter, right? That's kind of awesome. And we've sort of refined, chopped, changed, adjusted. Now he's doing 5.5 million revenue at a 28% net profit. Now, when you're doing 5 million revenue and you increase 1%, let me say that again. When you're doing a 5 million revenue and you increase your net profit by 1%, that's $50,000. $50,000. Now, so many people at any stage of business are leaking out money everywhere. whether it's labor efficiency, net profit on jobs, insecurity via quoting. I don't care if your pricing is correct. This is why I'm so against someone downloading someone else's calculator. I have so many people come through our program when their prices are correct. They're right. I look at it on your forecaster. What you're doing should work. We close a month, it doesn't work. There's a heavy difference between forecasting and actuals. Sometimes it's chalk and cheese. Sometimes it's not even comparable. There's what you think you're doing, and then there's what you're actually doing. There's what you think you're doing. I think my rates are correct. They look correct. They're green on the calculator. And then there's what you're actually doing. So there's no point thinking you're right. You need to know if you're right or not. And this is not a subjective item like, is there a God or not? Right, there's I think that, you know, this is not debatable. Anything mathematical is not debatable. It's a fact. And if it lands there, if your net profit lands where it lands, we work backwards from that. It's like, okay, well, that's not right. Okay, well, what is it? Is it our operating expenses too high? Our admin expenses too high? Is our gross profit correct? Are we charging enough for labor and materials? Have we separated everything properly in our cost operations operating expenses? Is my revenue where it should be? So you're sort of like starting from the bottom, now we're here. It's like Swordfish. You sort of get in the middle of someone's stuff. Remember Swordfish, the John Travolta movie, Hugh Jackman? Such a good movie. Anyway, it sort of starts at the end, then goes back and fills in the gaps. So that's what you're sort of doing. Anyone that comes in, we're sort of starting where we're at, and then we go back and we fill in the gaps. And some gaps are a lot easier to fill, and because if you're doing shorter term work, like kitchen renovations, bathroom renovations, or you're in and out service and maintenance, you can see some really quick improvements and really great improvements really soon, because you've finished all your bad stuff. You've done with the bad stuff, and you can progress and move on really quickly. If you're in the project space and you quoted a job 12 months ago and you just started it and that job's going to go for 18 months, you better buckle up, because you're in for a pretty turbulent period of dissatisfaction, of frustration. And it's nice to sit in that frustration, I think, sometimes. If you're in a self-inflicted hurricane, in other words, if you shot yourself in the foot and now you're complaining your foot's sore, sometimes you got to full just master splinter, sit in that and be like, I created this, how can I not do that again? How could I not do that again? So the range between 20 and 35% on the net profit will depend on where your business is at. And it's so important you know where it's at, because some people are doing less net profit than 20, but their plan, when they're releasing their admin, they're releasing their operations manager, they're releasing that next stage of business, or investing into that next stage of business, well, that's going to be 20, 25% pretty soon. So it's really important you know your own numbers. Your own numbers are not someone else's numbers. While there's certainly similarities, and compare it to fingerprints, right? If you saw 100 fingerprints in a row and looked at them with a magnifying glass, no doubt you'd be able to tell the intricacies and the detail, and they're all different. But if you just looked at it from the outset, what are they? Fingerprints. So it's like, what is it? Net profit. Yeah, but like, what's the details? And the devil's in the detail. And this is why we go so deep in our coaching, because so deep in the granular nitty gritty, because that's where the money is. When you're fighting for the 1%, you're fighting for the 1%, and that 1% is $50,000, $40,000, $30,000, $10,000. That's a cool result. And if your revenue is 500 grand, a million, whatever it is, who cares? You fight for that 1 to 2 to 3 to 4%. As you grow, you're going to be able to have the knowledge and intellectual property and pathway and systems and progress holding on to that net profit. So cool. What's the best time to get your business right? Now. And I want to reference Mark Twain here. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. So the secret to getting ahead is getting started. So most of us, so just don't wait to get started in some description. If that's with us, great. If that's with someone else, great. If that's with you in an Excel spreadsheet, hacking the mainframe into the night, great. Just get started, because the secret to getting ahead is getting started. And most of us, if you had sort of like a right now focus, you go, I'm so busy and I've got this and that on and this, and And then if you peel back in 5 years, I want to be at this point. And let's say it's a fitness goal or something like that. So yeah, going to the gym once or twice this week is, you might be able to motivate yourself to do that. But if your 5-year plan is to run a marathon or run multiple marathons or be the sexiest Pilates lord in town, or it's like, I want to be healthy because my health has a direct effect on my output, and my output is my business at this point, then you're going to be more motivated because you've got that longer term goal. So it's so important to have those short term, mid term, long term goals. And for our company, that long term goal is make money, build wealth, be kind. Peeling back, 3 things, we've done about 8 things you need to have a effective and productive and profitable year. And 3 things we're going to focus on today are as follows. You are a professional problem solver. We're going to go through that. Stick to what works. We're going to go through that. And seed, time, and harvest. That once you know your job description, and once you're sticking to what works, then there's going to be what we call seed, time, and harvest. It won't happen overnight, but it won't happen. We're planting the seeds, we've got to water it, and we've got to wait. And sometimes it's in the waiting where people get distracted. But back to this. You are a professional problem solver. Now, generally speaking, the more problems you solve, the more money you make, specifically in your industry. You need to make your clients' problems your priority. So what are your, I remember, this is going to go sideways, this is going to go up, it's going to go down. But I remember for me, one of the dreams was, and this, what everyone complains about a disorganized builder, right? Or disorganized client. And for me, I sort of saw that as an opportunity. I'm like, well, you're super disorganized. So if someone's really, really organized, they are going to probably get all the plans, get the nuts and bolts, and then send it out to 3 to 5 people. Now that has its own merits. I'm not discounting that at all. I'm not discounting the organized. I'm saying, can you see the gold in the disorganized? So one of my friends, who shall remain nameless, was a builder, and he was notoriously disorganized. And I remember turning up the site, and I'm like, oh, you said you said the point of attachment wasn't moving, and now it's moving. And now I've got to upgrade these con mains, this bracket, the service mains. I've got to get a private pole at the front because this is cooked, and I've got to get this board and an earthing system. This is an extra, whatever, $5,000 to $8,000, depending on where you're at. And I was like, and he's like, yeah, cool, just, yeah, I'm happy, just do it, and yeah, all good. And to some people, and then you're walking through the job, and he's like, oh, yeah, I did have a conversation with a client about that, and yeah, okay, yeah. And you're like, just tell me what you want. And a part of you, when you're really busy, gets really, really frustrated at people when they don't know what they want, right? Or it's like, just tell me, I'm busy. You have no idea how busy I am. And this is not efficient. And efficiency, I want to take a different spiel here, because I'm a big efficiency guy too, right? But I remember he was so disorganized. And I was like, okay, sweet. Well, let's put a checklist together so when you walk through, we can pick up the major items, right? Now, let's also send me some videos of X, Y, Z plus this, and we'll quote accordingly. And you just tell me roughly what you want to do, or you know what? I'll take it out of your hands. I'll go meet the client on site. I'll get my own photos. I'll get my own job description. I'll take a couple of hours out of my time. I'm going to put it in the quote, by the way. Everyone's like, yeah, good call. And anyway, we're there, nutted it out, put a sexy plan on what was Bluebeam back then, which is now, I guess, essentially Grand Plan. And I'm sure in the future, you'll be able to do that through Simpro or ServiceMate. I mean, I'm really excited for the future, what it holds in the automation space of throwing plans in and just drafting things up to typicals of what you say. I'm so excited for that. I think we're not even scratching the surface of what's possible there. But I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll go to meet the client. So now I'm breaking bread with the client. Now I'm sitting down with a coffee or tea. How good is it when the client brings out a coffee or a cup of tea and some kind of like ice Vovo or arrowroot or Scotch finger? Psycho. Just take a moment here to appreciate the Scotch finger in all its glory. And if you don't like them, you should stop listening. You need to get out of my ecosystem. Scotch finger's the best. Anyway, so breaking bread, sitting down with a client, and now you're quoting, now you're able to sit in a position with the client. Oh yeah, each of these, that's $120 for that one, and that's $175. And are you sure you want the heated towel? Hey, what were you thinking with heated towels? Hey, this is what I did at this other house. Check out this sexy LED strip underneath the island bench. Check out this cool stuff. And this person had automated curtains, and this person had a robot that we programmed to put jot form to the moon, back into your job notes, back into your net profit. This is cool. So you're sitting down, and I think anytime you put me in front of a client, I'm going to have the best shot at landing that job and that client. Land that job, get the work, but also get all their future work. Retain the builder's current work, and you can insert anything you want there for builder. You could insert commercial client, industrial client, doesn't really matter. I'm going to give me the best shot at retaining them and give me the best shot at retaining that client and everyone they know. That I want the ball. I'm the halfback. Not quite Joey Johns, but I'm on a pathway to be. No one on earth was 2005 Joey Johns. So I want the ball, give me the ball, and I'll have the best shot at winning this job, retaining my builder client, industrial client, commercial client, whatever, and doing this work and getting all their future work as well. So I want to encourage you, make their problems your problem. Now, there will be times when someone's causing you lots of problems. Now, when that's happening, you've got to put yourself through the dickhead meter a little bit. So it's like, well, am I good to deal with? Have I been unreasonable? Am I just too busy? Am I frustrated? Sometimes a client calls you for a cutout or a quote, and you've said you're going to do the quote and you should have been at the cutout. And it's like, guys always calling me last minute. Bah! And it's like, well, no, you should have expected the cutout, because anytime after roughing, there's a cutout to do, and you said you get this quote back. So sometimes we can be busy and taking our frustrations out on others, and it's like, oh, I didn't know you wanted that quote back. It's like, well, actually, you said you get that quote back last Thursday. Oh, why is this person calling me? And that can put so much pressure on your day, and you can blame everyone else. But the reality is you were just incredibly disorganized. But I will say, there are times when you can put it through the meter, being like, no, I've been actually really reasonable to deal with. This person showed multiple times that they don't pay. They're unreasonable variations. And I'm going to insert a couple other issues here. But it's interesting, right? When the builder is just a little bit disorganized and they just need a bit of help, that's different to someone being disruptive to the profitability of my business. Always kicking me in the shins, always belting me down, not allowing any variations, being unreasonable with timelines. Like that, you've got to work out there's a reasonable request and then there's unreasonable requests. Professional problem solver. A couple of other things I will highlight. One of our clients is just become a bit slow recently and in his workload. And that's going to happen. And usually you can trace that back to 3 to 6 months ago. I should have been chasing all this work. I should have been quoting all this work. I should have been David Hasselhoffing for some work. I wasn't, because I was busy. Wherever you're at, just scream it out loud. I was busy. I was so busy. The busiest person on earth. And then you go, okay, well, what's the fruit of not getting back to quotes? What's the fruit of not being responsive? What's the fruit of dropping the ball on site? What's the fruit of sending the wrong person to the right job? Eventually, you're going to land yourself in a boat where you've got no or not much work, or you've lost clients. And that's dangerous territory. So it got me reflecting, and I was like, for one of our clients, and anyone who's lived near the sea before, the salt water does terrible things to good items. It's just terrible. The corrosion factor. So we had this client who, let's face it, he had heaps of money and he was an absolute legend. And he would get really expensive external light fittings for the house and for the garden. And there'd be literally like hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff outside. So we would, first and foremost, he was such a legend to work for. But he cared about these lights so much. And I was like, do you want us to come past and give him a bit of cleanup? Like if you ever had saltwater corrosion, sometimes the best way is just a bit of clean water on a blue cloth and just wipe it off, because it just sticks, and once it sticks, it stays, and once it stays, it's gone. The fitting will be gone soon. So you need to sort of wipe it down and get it back to some sort of relative normal. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but go with me here. And we used to go outside and we would just wipe his lights down for 2 or 3 days, every 4 to 6 months. And he was like, this is the best thing ever. Thank you so much. So his problem was he wanted to keep his lights, because he would take them from place to place, from space to space. And if he moved a lot actually. He would move, and he'd move the light fittings with him. And we were like, yeah, cool. Well, we've looked after them. So his problem was, I need someone to look after my lights. I don't want to go out there for 2 or 3 days. I was like, hello, we'll do it. I was like, do you want us to do that? He said, yeah, that would be awesome. So we're going out to his house, just wiping them down. Something very, very simple that anyone can do, and you can book it in at any time. So that kind of stuff to have to book in, whether it's 2 or 3 or 5 days worth of work, whether it's test and tag or push button, trip testing, trip time testing, exit emergency lights, all that kind of stuff is so good to have as fill-ins, that you can fill the gaps between and get in front of the clients, because there's always the while you're here philosophy. Oh, while you're here, can you just? While you're here, would you just? While you're here, can you get that sorted? Oh, it's amazing. Isn't it amazing? I'd love to see some sort of graph when you go somewhere and something trips and it's got nothing to do with you. And they're like, oh, it must be you because you were working on the lights. I was like, that's a power circuit trip. That was nowhere near that. It's crazy. If I had $1 for every time that happened, it's almost like the trade gods laughing at you from a distance. And I get what they're saying is probably true. You were there, it tripped because you were here. Funny times. This same client would take down a whole heap of pendants from one job and go to the next, or from one site and go to the next when they moved. And I remember just going, oh, do you want us to get some boxes and some bubble wrap and we'll wrap it all up, because they were worried about how to transport them. So we'll get an empty van, we'll get some boxes, some bubble wrap, and we'll help you out. And they were like, would you do that? I was like, yeah, it's not electrical work. It's bubble wrapping light fittings and transporting them. And they were so stoked. So I went to Officeworks, heaps of boxes or Bunnings, can't remember, got some bubble wrap, came back, and we just wrapped lights, took it with them. I think it was 4 guys for the best part of a day and a half, wrapping, or put that in that room, put that in that room. At the end of that, they were so unbelievably stoked. They were like, thank you so much for helping us. You didn't have to, but you did. So if you can make the client's problems, your good clients, make your good clients' problems your problems and solve them. This is why it's so critical to get quotes back on time in a reasonable fashion, because and land these jobs as you go. Quoting rule is on time or on site. What's the problem? I've got a tripping circuit. When do we need it solved? Now. That's my problem now. You got a tripping circuit? That's now my problem. You need 3 lights hung? That's my problem. You need a board upgrade? That's now my problem. I'm going to give my best shot at making your problem my problem. I'll get that quote out in a reasonable time frame, not when I go home, not in 4 full moons time. I'm going to come and I'm going to deliver it on time or on site, and to land that job, I'm going to do that job, and I'm going to work for everyone you know into the future because you gave me a shot. Because when someone has a problem, you get a shot. When you get an in with a commercial client, industrial client, builder, someone who can give you repeat work, when the old Sparky has dropped the ball, that's the dream. That's the dream. That's the dream. You live for those moments. You make a mistake, I'm going to go pick the ball up. And you do not want to make mistakes, because a company might come into the fold that's genuinely better than you, that genuinely cares more than you, that genuinely has more capable team, that gets their quotes back on time. So are you the best in your industry? You can't be competition focused. You can't be, I'm worried about what my competitor's doing. Oh, they're this, they're this, that. You need to be focused on yourself and your product. Are you delivering the best stuff you can? If not, how can you get better? We can always get better. I'm going to get better so my clients don't go to someone else with their problems. You got a problem electrically, you come to me. You got a problem? You got a problem? It's like Godfather time, right? You got a problem? You come to me. Like, you come to me. And this is why, like, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Just worry about what you're doing. And be the best version of yourself and put out the best product you can. Continually refine it, continually get better. Don't be competitor focused, but be scared that they can come in. But if you're product focused, you'll be always increasing and you'll be always offering those little points of differences that are a bit better. Professional problem solver. You are a professional problem solver. Solve other people's problems. Generally speaking, the more problems you solve and the bigger problems you solve for people, the more money you make. Unless, of course, you're in church ministry. And then it's like you need to write a book or something, right? But are you solving the right problems? On a professional problem solver, I will highlight you can solve a lot of problems that you don't need to. So if you're consistently the person that all your staff members call, like, oh, I've got a tripping circuit, like, what do I, can we just put that on a PDF document? I'm sure you can even type that into ChatGPT and just get them to be like, blah. Like you could iron out a fault-finding pathway, whether it's a diagnostic for a Dakin unit, whether it's a tripping circuit on a residential house, whether it's a tripping circuit on a three-phase, whatever it is, I'm sure you could take you 15 minutes to write out the pathway. And if that 15 minutes saves you 4 phone calls a month, and you do that 10 times, that's 40 less phone calls because someone can solve their own problems on your Google Drive. So sometimes we can complain about all these phone calls. All right, well, are we just hot potatoing? The problem gets hot potato to me. If you're consistently living in this heightened state of stress where you feel everyone's coming to you, write it down. Like, what are they coming to me for? Oh, this and that. Oh, that and that. Oh, do they need to? This is crazy. Like, surely I can just put a document together. Surely they can just call the leading hand. Surely I don't have to be the person that everything has to come to on the bottleneck. Crazy times. You are a professional problem solver. Solve the right problems for the right people. Say that again. Solve the right problems for the right people. We'll wrap it up with these two, right? Stick to what works. It's so unbelievably easy to get distracted. In this modern day, there's never been a greater time to get distracted. If I want to watch anything I want, I can watch it right now. If I want to watch surfing from 1997, I'm going to find it. If I want to watch a zebra getting attacked by a lion, I'm going to find it. If I want to watch a cat pushing a ball down a hill, I'll probably find it on YouTube somehow. You got your social media, you got your Instagram, you got your LinkedIn, you got your TikTok, you got all this kind of stuff. And cool, it has some great purposes, but we can't get distracted. We need to stick to what works. I sat with someone the other day and they were like, oh, this close the week stuff is the best. It's teaching me everything. I'm learning so much and I know where all the problems are and I know where the gaps are and I'm feeling it. I'm getting better. I'm getting more profitable. I'm getting more productive, all this kind of stuff. I'm pushing forward to greener pastures. This is awesome. This is awesome. A couple of weeks later, how'd you go with the close week? Oh, I didn't do it. Just got busy. Yeah. So, okay, sweet. Well, so why are we not sticking to what works? At what point do we go, that works, I'm going to do that again? What I did then, that works. Repeat it. It's so unbelievably 101. If something is working, stick to it. If something is working, stick to it. Don't divert from the mainframe, right? So it's so crazy, so easy to get distracted and want to diversify and get this whole heap of stuff. I'm not saying diversification is bad. I'm saying distraction is. You need to know what you need to do and you need to nail it. You need to stick to what works. What works? Getting quotes out on time. Cool. Well, why do I think it's okay to not get quotes out on time? What works? Sending invoices weekly. All right, well, why do I think it's okay to get so far behind that I'm now scratching the surface of like the last bits of my bank account because I need to get that progress claim in? Now I'm putting all this pressure on this couple of clients to pay who are my best clients. Now I'm making all these unnecessary phone calls to get money in quicker, all because I was disorganized 4 weeks ago, all because I veered from the path. So what works? Having good quality, hard conversations works regularly, as long as they're kind, that works. What works? Employing the best people in the industry. What works? Finding out who to pass different tasks on. What works? Training people, investing in people. What works? Building relationships. What works? You know what works. Write it down. Do it. Repeat it. So sometimes we land in places we don't want to land because we were doing stuff that doesn't work. And if you continually do stuff that doesn't work, it's going to land you in a broken situation, in a broken business, in a broken relationship. So focus up and double down on what works. When you find something that works, closing the week, that works. Oh my gosh, sweet. That 2 to 4 hours is going in every single week because that works. Stick to what works. Focus. There's never been a more important time to focus and stay focused. To focus and stay focused. You won't be able to stick to what works without a plan. Got a pod coming up in a couple of weeks' time called Planning Your Admin Day Part 2. Gonna be great. All right, Part 1 was awesome, by the way. Go watch that back. This is the last one. So once you've recognized you've got to solve people's problems, once you're sticking to what works and not getting distracted, we need to wait. We need to wait. It's like I was saying at the start of the pod, seed, time, and harvest. Seed, plant a seed, do what works. Now I wait, now I water it. Now I keep doing the right thing, keep doing what works. And I'm going to reap a harvest into the future. So many times we plant the right seeds and we just don't give it the time to sprout. Where's my basil? It's coming soon. Where's my carrots? It's coming soon. Where's my profit? It's coming soon. Where's my good business? It's coming soon. We just had to turn the ship around. Where's my culture? It's coming soon. We just had to get rid of those bad people in it. Where is this? It's coming soon. We've sowed the seeds. Now we need to wait. Playing Time Crisis 2 was just the funniest thing. All our friends would laugh about it. I had Time Crisis 2 with like the guns. It was, what a time to be alive. And playing it, there'd be Time Crisis. So they obviously just dubbed it from the first one. Time Crisis. And there's this long, felt like a 10-second delay. And then the guy goes, 2. Time Crisis. 2. It was just like dubbed over the top, like cut in late. And it just got me thinking, you need to wait for some stuff. Remember that Rachel Hunter Pantene commercial? It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. The results you want, a lot of times you're sowing seeds, they're not gonna sprout tomorrow. They're not gonna result in tomorrow. But they're going to happen. We need to wait and we need to be patient. And too many times you sort of don't get to see what works because you get distracted. Or you do it you close a week for 4 weeks in a row. Cool, sweet. Well, I need that done as long as you're working, as long as you're selling labor materials, you or someone needs to do that. It's no good to do it for 4 to 8 weeks. It's no good to imagine doing this on site. Imagine just leaving things half done on site all the time or not doing it. I got that board upgrade. Oh, it's still hanging off the wall. Yeah, I'll just do it whenever. It's cool. Just come back to it later. Sweet. No, it's not. I got all those cables hanging out. Yeah, they're live, but it's all good. Like, it's all good. It's psycho. Don't do it. Like, just do things properly. Do it once, do it well. Stick to what works, and then you got to wait. Sometimes you got to wait. So the guy I was talking about at the start that had a 3 mil revenue at a 14%. Now he's 5.5, 6 mil revenue at a 28%. This didn't happen overnight. It's 2 years of closing every single week. 2 years. 2 years. So the body you want, the marriage you want, the life you want, the business you want, the profit you want, it's not going to happen in the next month. You're not going to get 12 months of enlightenment. It's going to be 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years. But you need to knuckle down and you need to work out what works, find someone who knows what works, and then double down on what works and never veer from the pathway. And never veer from the pathway. And never veer. Just train tracks. Bang, I'm on. Bang, I'm on. And once those rocks fall into place in your schedule, then you'll know what else you can take on and what else you can't take on. Then you'll know who I can hand things to, who I can't hand things to. Find what works, stick to it. Solve people's problems. Stick to what works and keep going. Keep going. You're not running a sprint. You're not Usain Bolt. We've got to take all this like, oh, I did this, I got 20 staff within a month. That's psycho. No one can do that in a service-based industry. It's not good. And the ramifications of the short-term glow-up, you might even say, we don't even know about yet. Where's the person that got 15 staff within a year? Where are they? Where are they going to be in 3 to 5 years' time? I guarantee you talk to them, they'll be like, that was a dumb decision. I wish I didn't do that. It landed me in some hot water. And I was wondering why my lobster's cooked. Crazy times. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Where do you sit on everything? You might be like, you know what? I've been taking my issues out on my clients. I haven't been making their problems my problems. You might be like, you know what? I've been distracted from what works. I know what works. Buy laid materials, sell at a profit. And I've been trying to learn sales. Cool. No one cares. like just be good at your job and communicate effectively and well and be honest and kind. That's sales. Yeah, you can get better in terminologies, but don't sell someone something they don't need and then wonder why your reputation sucks. And then do I just need to wait? Am I just park the car? Sun's going to watch the sunset. It's going to happen. 45 minutes. Profit's going to come. Just got to knuckle down, do the right thing. Some of you guys that I'm speaking to are halfway or just starting or about to start projects you misquoted. So you're going to see them out and you're going to see some red on your close a month. You're going to see some pain. You're going to see a lack of profit. But if you sit in it, and you're like, that sucked. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. I'll honor it because I said I would. Maybe I can have a conversation if the job hasn't started. But if I stick to what works for me, if I don't put another foot wrong in 3 months, in 6 months, in 12 months, I'm out the other side and then I can run the profitable business that I was always meant to run. So many people get caught up in the moment. They get caught up in the moment. How old are you right now? 25, 30, 35, 40? You'll probably be doing this for 20 years. So if you're running a 20-year race, get the non-negotiables completed every single week. Stop making excuses. Solve people's problems. Be good to deal with. Stick to what works and wait. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. What is the next step for you getting started? Take a moment, write it down, execute. Thanks for hanging out. You've been real. Peace. That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.